Dick Grayson is off to jail. Hey guys, welcome to our recap and review of the 10th episode of the second season of Titans, Fallen. But before we get started, make sure you get in on this month's giveaway. We're giving away a copy of Kingdom Come, one of the greatest comics ever, by Mark Waid and Alex Ross. To get in on this giveaway, all you have to do is be a subscriber to the channel, hit like, and leave a comment. Welcome to another Titans recap and review. Now remember, we're going to go through a lot of spoilers in this video, so if you haven't seen this episode, I highly recommend you go watch it and then come back. I don't want to spoil it for you. Well, we closed out last week's episode with Dick Grayson going full commando on a couple of cops in an airport. This typical kind of behavior leads us right to the beginning of this episode, where we find Dick on his way to jail. And based on how the credits open up, it looks like Dick could be there for a long time, almost 7 years. After we get done watching Dick get processed into prison, we flash over to Connor, who is walking around feeling pretty guilty about what happened last episode. After being highlighted in some news stories, Connor decides that what's best is to get as far away from Crypto and everybody else as possible to keep him safe, so he sends Crypto on his way. Then we head on back over to the prison. We still see Dick dressed in his new snazzy prison outfit, and he's assigned to one of the guards, who immediately tries to help out Dick, well, in an opportunistic way. He offers Dick a sort of typical prison exchange. He'll get him a safe cell, and then he gives him information. Dick refuses and utters a line that pretty much describes the whole episode. "Sorry, I'm not in the business of helping people." This has him dump Dick in the general population with some new roommates that do not appear to like him too much. Now Connor is totally lost in the guilt for what he did, and is wandering the streets alone. We flash over to Gar, who's at Titan's tower, who hears an alert at the door and finds out it's Crypto. Gar and Crypto manage to find Connor so they can talk, and they ask Connor why he did what he did, where he reminds them that he told him he was half Lex, but Gar didn't listen. As Gar tries to explain to him why it's important to be a Titan, Cadmus shows up, and instead of confronting him directly, they make a break for it and head back to the tower. Now, in this episode, we did see Donna looking for Rachel, and we did see Rachel finding herself in a soup kitchen. Now, Rachel, being the good-natured person she is, finds somebody to talk to and begins to bond with this woman over some of the food provided in the soup kitchen. After a few minutes, her boyfriend comes in and forces her to leave. It's clearly not a positive relationship. Rachel finds him abusing her in the alley and goes full Raven on him. Now, she doesn't kill him, but she beats him down real nicely, and the woman is more than a little impressed. After she scares him away and lets him go, a gargoyle comes to life from a bit of her evilish power, and as we find out later in the episode, it actually rips this dude to pieces. Clearly, Trigon is finding a way back. Now back in prison, Dick is getting to know his new cellies. He hits the yard and watches how prison life rolls, and notices his new roomies are watching the guards and are clearly formulating a plan and communicating using their dominoes. He finds out that his roommates are not quite what they seem, and although they are a part of a cartel, the Corto Maltese, and they're being deported, they're not actually part of the gang or your typical gangbangers as sort of portrayed by the guard earlier in the episode. Back in the cell, Dick reveals that he knows they're working on a breakout, and he confronts them, but he's not against them. He's just warning them that it's obvious to him, it's probably obvious to the guards. And this is where it becomes clarified that they're not actually part of the gang. They're trying to escape, and when they're deported back to their country, they'll actually be murdered by the cartel for deserting. This was a great part about this episode, and I really love it. A classic, don't judge a book by its cover. Now we flash back over to Titan's tower, where Gar and Connor have returned with Crypto. And after a short conversation, the Cadmus strike team show up and engage Gar and Connor. Now, it's really clear in this fight sequence, Gar has been working out. After beating the tar out of a couple of guards, Gar finally makes his first transformation we've seen in a really long time. But ultimately, Cadmus takes down Gar, and Mercy Graves convinces Connor to come back to Cadmus with her after telling him she's working with Eve. Now, back in the jail, we actually get our first sign of Nightwing via a symbol on the wall. Now, because these guys didn't kill Dick, the Corto Maltese gang is waiting for him, and the youngest cellmate tells Dick that they're going to make it out tonight because of Alazul, a bird that comes in the night and saves people. Let's just say Dick is a little skeptical and tells him it isn't real. Why would it even be here? But after hearing the story, it clearly touches Dick, and the show repeatedly shows us this symbol. It's starting to set into Dick that these are not bad people. Now we do get a couple of instances of Donna in this episode, with only 3 short scenes. Early in the episode we see her actually looking for Rachel, and then later on she finds the body of the victim of the gargoyle that came to life from Rachel's power, and she clearly knows this is from Rachel. By the end of the episode, Donna actually returns to the tower, where she finds it trashed, and the remnants of the battle between Cadmus, Connor, and Gar is still very apparent. There's even some bloody handprints and paw prints in the kitchen. Now back in the jail, one of Dick's cellmates, the eldest named Santos, is actually murdered in the yard by the Corto Maltese. We are reminded once again that these are not bad guys when we see these guys praying for their lost friend. The prison goes into lockdown, and it looks like their plans were foiled until it's time for them to be deported. Dick begs them over and over again not to do it. There's no way their escape will succeed, and tells them they are blind. But their retort is deep and it sticks, Being here tomorrow is the sign of what you are supposed to do. After they're taken out of the cell and to the transfer area, the two inmates quickly escape their bonds and make their move, and the offensive lasts about 4 seconds. The guards quickly overpower them and begin beating the crap out of them even after they're subdued. This is when Al Azul shows, the moment Dick Grayson becomes Nightwing. Dick comes to their aid and just beats the crap out of the guards, helping them escape. Once the two men are free of the prison, Dick is hit in the head with the butt of a rifle and taken down by the guards. But it doesn't matter because Nightwing has been born. Now we close out this episode at Cadmus. Although Connor came willingly, Gar is currently being held against his will and is clearly not too happy about it. Now Mercy has tried to play to Gar's base human self-serving nature to no avail. He just wants to be a Titan. And Mercy has decided that might be what's best in the most sinister way. One of the interesting things about the final scene is that he's sitting on the couch watching Wizard of Oz, and on the TV, flying monkeys. Not sure where we're going with that, but let's just write that one down for later. In this episode, we got no Jason, no Corey, no Hank, and no Dawn, so there's been no advancement of their stories, as well as nothing from our villain, Deathstroke. I'm sure next week we'll see a little more of Grayson in jail and where that's headed, but clearly Nightwing has been born. What did you guys think of this episode? I really liked it. It wasn't as action-packed or as superhero-ish as some previous episodes, but it was still a lot of fun, and the character development for Dick Grayson was what many fans have been craving for a really long time. When will he become Nightwing? And it appears it's this week. I'm going to give this episode a 7.5 out of 10 stars. Another great episode. Obviously, I'm going to be tuned in next week and hope to see you there. Tell me what you think in the comments below. If you like this video, make sure you press like, click subscribe, and if you don't ring that bell, you won't get any updates. Peace.